Hey, what is up, guys? Tyler here with Secure Team. How's everyone doing today? We've got a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's just jump right into it. The first of which is a brand new and very mysterious development about a story that we've spoken about in countless videos before, and that is of the infamous Tabby star. Now, if you don't remember, Tabby star is this very strange star that they found, and they detected that it was losing a lot of its light, as if something was moving in front of it. Now, when you have a star out in space and you have something, say, like a planet, moving in front of it, you will get dips in light, usually only at about 1%. However, Tabby star was losing light at a rate of between 20 and 40%, and it has continually been dimming more and more. So scientists were completely perplexed. They had no idea what was causing this star to lose so much light. Better yet, what was blocking this light? What was in front or surrounding this star? So there was a lot of speculation, and every time they tried to come up with a theory, it ended up falling apart. At first, they thought that, well, it could possibly be a large swarm of comets that were surrounding the star or just flying in front of it. However, that theory quickly fell apart as well after they did some calculations, and the hypothesis just fell apart that this was comets, because they found out that for a star like this to dim by 20% or more over the course of a century, it would require about 700,000 comets, each about 200 kilometers wide, to have transited it, which isn't really possible. Now, there was another theory, once again put forth by scientists. Now, obviously, they figured there was a very small chance of this, but as their theories are running dry, there is one that does sort of make sense, and that is the possibility of a large extraterrestrial built structure surrounding the star, harnessing the star's energy, and that is what has become known as a Dyson sphere. And so that is what we've spoken about over the past couple of videos. Well, a brand new update, they have discovered a second Tabby star. And this star is very close to our own sun, and it is also showing these very strange dips in brightness. The star is called Epic 204278916, and it's estimated to be about the size of our sun in diameter, but only half of its mass. And apparently this star is even stranger than Tabby star, than the first star that they identified with this strange phenomenon happening around it. And what they found is that this star has got to have something very large in front of it, because it is losing up to 65% of its light. Remember, Tabby star was only losing around 20%, maybe a little over. And as I said earlier, let's say you have maybe a planet the size of Earth moving in front of the star. That will only cause it to lose 1% of its light. So whatever this is that's blocking this new star's light, it is giant. And again, this case just keeps getting more bizarre and enigmatic. I mean, they have no idea. Now they've come up with a new theory that, well, it could be a ring of circumstellar dust, or what is called a circumstellar disk, similar to a protoplanetary disk, where you'll have this large debris field surrounding stars, but usually this happens when the stars are very young. Although they have detected it in a few other stars that are older, they're just throwing theories. I mean, they're throwing darts at a dartboard and seeing what'll stick, but none of them do. And this is not confirmed. This is just another theory. They have not gone through a formal peer review process, so it's very much up for debate at this moment. And apparently researchers have already begun to poke holes in this new hypothesis. So Kepler is going to be making some new observations of this new star next year. So hopefully we'll get some new answers, but this entire phenomenon with this star is very strange. I've been following it since the very beginning and reporting on it, and it really does seem like the more they try to rule out this being anything but a large alien structure surrounding this star, the more their hypotheses fall apart and give credence to the likelihood that we very well may have an artificial structure surrounding these stars. So Very, very strange. We will continue to follow this story and post on it accordingly, so let me know what you guys think about that. Now, I've got actually a few updates to some past videos that we've done. Things are just getting weird all over the world. But we'll get to that in a minute. First, I want to show you a couple of new UFO sightings that have been sent in to me. The first of which is this very strange light that was seen over Toronto, Canada recently. So check this out.
On my life, security team, it slowed down at a point. I can get a good one.
Shit, it's just going so fast. Like, yo, is that a fucking meteor? What?
Yo, look, it did slow down at a point.
That's the best. Wait, what if it actually crashed?
It's not blinking. It's not blinking. Yo, you see me? Yo, it's glowing. Yo, Clay, come. Yo. Yo, they said they found shit like that in Northern Ireland, bro. Where my mom's from. Toronto. Right now. That shit. On my life. It's just a glowing red fucking orb. Fuck.
Alright, so this was sent over by Ryan DeSourcy of Toronto, Canada. Now, this was captured on October 2nd, and the source said that he was riding a bike with a friend home when he turned down the street and saw this strange object illuminated in the sky. He said the object looked very unheard of, in his words. He said it resembled a dome that was flipped upside down. And at the top of this, there was a circular, glowing red orb protruding from the top. He said the orb looked like it was almost fire-like, and it made his friend think that it was an asteroid coming down at first. But he said it was very contained, it had a definite structure to it, and it did have a sort of metal outer shell surrounding it. They further said that it made no noise whatsoever, and it was at a height where it could move up and down out of the clouds. At one point, stopping dead in its tracks and just sitting still in the sky before it picked up speed and jetted off to the point where they couldn't even keep up with it anymore. He said this thing just kept going and going until it crossed over the horizon and they couldn't see it anymore. So yeah, this is a very mysterious thing. I'm not going to be so quick as to call it out as a drone, because usually when we see these drone sightings, a lot of them will be multicolored, have blinking lights. You will definitely hear a sound coming from them, but most of all, they usually stay within the same general area. Now, I know that some of these drones can fly pretty far, but this just didn't look like that, and I'll take the source's word for it. And this thing seemed to be flying over a very wide area until it just continued going south, disappearing over the horizon. So this thing was moving miles and miles and miles away. So very strange. Happened 2 days ago in Toronto. Any of you guys see this, give me a shout out, shoot me an email, and we'll see what else we can find. Now, on to another sighting that was recently submitted to MUFON of a very clear disc-shaped object filmed by a passenger on an airline. Here is the original image zoomed out. Now, the source stated he watched the object drop down from high up in the clouds as if it was falling like a leaf, as described by the source. And at one point, the object stopped in its tracks and blasted off at a speed about 5 times faster than the plane. Here we are zooming in to give you a better shot here. You can see this very silvery, metallic, saucer-shaped object, very similar to the saucers that we've seen in the past, many of which, oddly enough, have been captured outside of these planes. And they will appear next to these airliners almost as if to watch them or study them. You know, it's very strange. A lot of them will shadow these planes and be followed, but they won't appear on radar. So this happened over the Isle of Man, which was over the Irish Sea between England and Ireland. Here we have the close-up shot. Here is an enhanced version, upping the contrast, that was actually provided by the source. Now, I will put the case number and the link to the case on MUFON where you can download the high-resolution image here. and all the images he put with it, and look at this for yourself. But according to the eyewitness, the way this thing maneuvered, dropping down from the sky, stopping, and then jetting off in a straight line about 5 times faster than the plane, yeah, I think we definitely have something unnatural here. So big thanks to the source who sent this in. Our skies continue to be full of activity like they've never been before. So check out those photos for yourselves. Now, in other news, the plot thickens, the mystery thickens over the recent SpaceX rocket explosion that happened just a couple weeks back. If you guys remember, we reported on this when an unmanned Falcon 9 rocket built by the independent space company SpaceX exploded while it was sitting on the launch pad at Cape Canaveral, Florida. And at the time, and since then, we've had multiple reports from Elon Musk, the president of SpaceX, who has admitted that he has no idea what happened here. And so there's been a lot of theories as to whether a UFO caused this explosion. The reason we're bringing it back up today is that now the SpaceX company is eyeballing a rival company who may have sabotaged the rocket launch. So according to, well, various articles that have hit the web over the past 24 hours, speculation is building among the employees of SpaceX and even the CEO himself that there was sabotage involved in the recent Falcon 9 rocket explosion, and that SpaceX is investigating this purported sabotage as the cause of the explosion. And what we know so far is that recently they were reviewing some footage of the so far unexplained explosion where, quote, unnamed industry officials reported that SpaceX saw a, quote, odd shadow and then a white spot on the roof of a nearby building just before the explosion. And that very building is owned by the long-standing competitor United Launch Alliance, or ULA. So according to a new Science Alert article, and I'll post this down in the video description, the footage of this is being kept under wraps. However, a reporter from the Washington Post by the name of Christian Davenport stated that a SpaceX employee tried to enter the ULA building to investigate after seeing this video and was denied access. ULA has said that the U.S. Air Force investigators have since checked out the roof and found nothing suspicious. But then again, if you're going to sabotage a rocket, of course you are going to clean up your mess afterwards, so of course there's not going to be anything suspicious when investigators finally get around to investigating. So there's not a lot to go on about this. There has not been an official on-the-record statement about the sabotage, but we definitely have sources from in the company who have stated that this sabotage theory is definitely being investigated, and at this point it's definitely more than a theory. Something strange came off a building of their rival competitor, ULA. And Elon Musk has come out recently on Twitter, and here are these posts here, and we'll kind of go down the line, where he says that they're still working on the Falcon Fireball investigation, turning out to be the most difficult and complex failure we have ever had in 14 years. Next, he goes on to say that this explosion happened during a routine filling operation where the engines were not on and there was no apparent heat source. So, I mean, the plot keeps on thickening. Later on, and possibly his most cryptic tweet yet, he stated, particularly trying to understand the quieter bang sound a few seconds before the fireball goes off. May come from rocket or something else. So there you have it. We may very well have a case of sabotage by a rival competitor whose building is just across from the launch pad here at Cape Canaveral. And interestingly enough, if you remember, we've done a video about the ULA in the past, and it was in regards to a secret rocket launch that they were doing themselves, wherein which we found that the mission patch for this very secretive launch contained none other than a Black Knight. You're seeing that mission patch here. And if you follow our channel, you'll know the Black Knight has a very special significance in ufology. as it pertains to the Black Knight satellite, which is a purported alien satellite or dark satellite that has been orbiting our planet for thousands of years. And what was even more mysterious about this launch, as you're seeing from their webpage here, is that the rocket was carrying a secret classified payload for the National Reconnaissance Office. And when you looked at the mission description, it only stated, quote, "The mission will be launched for the National Reconnaissance Office in support of national defense." So, I mean, there's a lot of mystery around ULA, this mysterious Black Knight Delta rocket launch, and now they're possibly going to be found out as perpetrators of a sabotage here. So, man, you can't make this stuff up. And we will obviously continue to follow this, so definitely let me know what you guys think. Now, on to another story, and I've been getting a lot of emails and questions about this. So let's go ahead and break this down. If you don't know yet, there has been, over the past few months, a report put out by other supposed UFO researchers about a mysterious radio signal that was found to be coming from deep inside the Earth, and that it was NASA that detected the signals. Now, on its face, when you watch some of these videos that talk about this, it actually seems quite legitimate and very mysterious. And so, after getting a lot of emails about it, I went ahead and did some digging, because I wanted to find out where it actually came from. If you haven't heard the story, the gist of it is that the Earth is possibly hollow on the inside, and that NASA received these radio signals and decoded them, but will not reveal the contents. The source of this report also stated that scientists agreed that this was the most startling and important discovery of the century. So they received these signals from inside the Earth, and after doing a little bit of digging, here is the actual newspaper report that was actually originally published in 1995 by a paper called the Weekly World News. Now, I will put a link down in the video description where you can actually go and read this entire magazine. You might be stunned with what you find. So here is the original article. NASA receives signal from the center of the Earth, posted by correspondent Charles George. And so, yeah, it looks official enough. I wonder what sort of reputable, well-known, respected news source that this came from. The Weekly World News. How did this get past me? Because I had never heard of it. I mean, of course, I was alive back in 1995, although I was maybe only about 9 or 10 years old. But now I was intrigued. So I wanted to go through and see what other reports were contained within this groundbreaking news reporting outlet. So let's go ahead and see what other monumental findings they've reported on. So let's see. Go down here. Ooh, ghoul slices girlfriend and drinks her blood after watching Interview with the Vampire. Oh boy, look at this girl. Looking back, I am full of shame and embarrassment to see how people dressed back in the mid-90s. So let's go ahead and keep moving on here. There is sure to be some more earth-shaking news reporting here. Oh, here we go. Demon semen. Woman says she gave birth to Satan's baby. I mean, simply riveting. Riveting. Let's move on. Here we are. Oh, some space news. Gastronaut. Passing wind gets Mexican spaceman banned from U.S. shuttle flights. Let's go ahead and see this spaceman. Well, apparently, if you have gas, then you will be banned from any future United States space shuttle flights. Poor gentleman. And you know what? These are the types of serious news reports that would keep me up nights. Alright, let's just go to one more. There is sure to be a good one here. The last cat in Cuba. Castro's starving people who have eaten every feline in sight. 400,000 kittens have been cooked and served for dinner. It would appear that this story is nothing but a big ball of nonsense. And if you see any videos on it, and if you've emailed me in the past asking me, well, hopefully I've just answered your question. as far as we know, no signals have been decoded from inside the Earth. Alright, so there you have it, nonsense. One other story, however, that is not nonsense that we reported on, and we actually took some heat for reporting on, was the case of these so-called phantom clowns that were happening across the country. And if you remember, about a week or so ago, we posted a video on these so-called phantom clowns. And I gotta say, I took a lot of flack for that video. I got some very angry messages from people who were not happy that I had made a video talking about this. And, told me that it was nothing but a prank and that it wasn't worthy to report on and that there was no such thing as this countrywide phantom clown phenomenon. Well, guess what, guys? Since I've posted that video, these so-called phantom clown sightings have tripled, 20-fold, across the United States, and I'm willing to bet most of you have probably seen a news report, either on television or in your local newspaper, within the last week or so. And I'm also getting a ton of emails now from people who are thanking me for posting a video about this and letting them know. And these are from people who are getting letters from their children's schools who are going into lockdown and receiving threats from these clowns that are being sighted everywhere. And you can Google this and check for yourselves. These clowns are appearing in almost every state in the United States. We've recently had arrests of men terrorizing people. I mean, this is not just some prank. People are being terrorized, and school children are being threatened and chased and terrorized. Here's some new video of a news report out of Massachusetts.
This video quickly going viral as the clowns standing outside Geisler's supermarket chased a person in their car. That clown sighting giving the Agawam community a serious scare. Western Mass News reporter Darren Aya is live outside that supermarket with more information. Darren?
Sina, this clown scared so many people that the Agawam police was called, and residents are left scared and confused, just wondering what they saw.
Here's another news report about Penn State students who flooded the streets recently to hunt for clowns after one of them was sighted near the campus. And I've been getting countless emails over the past couple of days from people sending me reports from their hometowns and states, from Utah to South Carolina, news reports of children seeing and hearing clowns in the woods trying to lure the children in, threats on schools and other establishments, and they are appearing all over the country. Like, it's become a thing now. And it's really creepy, and I firmly stand by the video that I posted because this is a true and real threat, and it would seem to be spreading. So you're getting a bunch of idiots out there who are scaring people, but you're getting a lot of them who are targeting children, and when I get various emails from people sending me letters from their kids' schools who were put on lockdown and who are taking these threats very seriously, and who didn't even realize that this was going on until they watched my video, well, that is why I posted it. Because it is very real, and since I've posted that video, the phenomenon has grown, and it's causing a sort of mass panic across the country. And so, I'm happy that I could let anyone know, especially if you have kids. I mean, you have these clowns, you have these guys out there who are knocking on people's doors, trying to break into their house, trying to snatch kids. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And so, once again, I will state, everybody out there, be careful. Just keep an extra eye on your kid. Make sure they're safe. And you know what? Make sure you're safe. Maybe keep your doors locked at night if you normally wouldn't. And if you see one of these a-holes around, report them to the police, or maybe chase them down and give them a little mob street justice. Alright? So, yeah, a lot of things going on. Let me know what you guys think about everything we've talked about today. I know this has kind of been a long video, but I mean, there's a lot to talk about. And I've got a lot more coming. More footage coming in. I'm going to be going over it, so be sure to share, like, and subscribe. Stick around right here with Secure Team, and I'll see you guys back very, very soon. Thanks for watching, and stay safe.